Welcome, everyone. I'm Mike.
I'm Ben.
I'm Ruben.
And I'm Michelle, and we're the hosts of the 4 True Crime Idiots podcast. Welcome back to part 3 of the Somerton Man series.
Now we're going to move on to the Magnuson family.
Contemporary reports consider the connection with the death of a 2-year-old boy 6 months later. On June 6, 1949, the body of 2-year-old Clive Magnuson was found in the sack in the Largs Bay Sandhills, about 20 kilometers up the coast from Somerton Park. Lying next to him was his unconscious father, Keith Waldemar Magnuson.
So they found a 2-year-old in a sack, like in a bag, right?
Yeah.
And he was lying next to his father?
Yes. The father was taken to a hospital in a very weak condition, suffering from exposure. Following a medical examination, he was transferred to a mental hospital.
Or a mental hospital.
Maybe he's crazy.
Why would they kill the kid? He was only 2 years old. I mean, there was...
Yeah, maybe the dad was doing something?
Maybe the dad might have been in the same whatever Somerton Man was in.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
The Magnusons have been missing for 4 days. The police believe that Clive had been dead for 24 hours when his body was found.
So I wonder if the dad just took him?
Clive was the little boy?
Yeah. I wonder if the dad just took him from his mom.
That's true. Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
The two were found by Neil McRae, of Largs Bay, who claimed he had seen the location of the two in a dream the night before.
What?
In a dream?
So he said he saw him in a dream
Yeah.
at the shore.
Yeah.
Is that kind of weird?
Well, what if he's psychic or something and that's how his premonitions come through dreams?
I don't know about psychics.
I believe in psychics.
It might be real, but I don't know.
I mean, it's weird that he dreamt the exact location,
Exactly.
but I've had dreams where that eventually come true.
There you go, you
Well,
see?
like deja vu.
Wouldn't that be wouldn't that be something more of a deja vu? That's more of a premonition because
Yeah, not a dream. But to dream the exact location, that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never had that happen.
Maybe one time you guys have dreamt something and you actually got it.
Well, we're not psychic. That's what we're trying to say.
Not exactly like it, but almost close to it.
Yeah, but that's weird.
That's
interesting.
If anything, that could be a cover-up too.
Yeah, maybe he was involved.
Maybe he was involved and he was just saying,
I had a dream.
I had a dream that they were there and it,
Psychic.
Yeah.
That's true.
The coroner could not determine the young Magnuson's cause of death, although it was not believed to be natural causes. The contents of the boy's stomach were sent to a government analyst for further examination. Following the death, the boy's mother, Roman Magnuson, reported having been threatened by a masked man who, while driving a battered cream car, almost ran her down outside her home in Cheapside Streets, Largs North. Magnuson stated that the car stopped and a man with a khaki handkerchief over his face told her to keep away from the police or else. Additionally, a similar-looking man had been recently seen lurking around the house.
Oh, so
they were targeted.
Yeah. I wonder if it was that McCree guy.
Right?
Yeah.
Probably was. Magnuson believed that this situation could be related to her husband's attempt to identify the Somerton Man, believing him to be Carl Thompson, who had worked with him in Renmark in 1939. Soon after being interviewed by police over her harassment, Magnuson collapsed and required medical treatment.
Oh.
So he knew what he did then.
So I wonder if it is like a spy kind of thing.
I'm starting to think that it could be if they went after the son. But why take the son though? He was 2. I'm still lost on that because 2-year-old's not gonna rat you out.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. They clearly care.
Deep state.
Yeah.
Unless she was in it on it.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
J.M. Gower, secretary of the Largs North Progress Association, received anonymous phone calls threatening that Miss Magnuson would meet with an accident if he interfered, while A.H. Curtis, the acting mayor of Port Adelaide, received 3 anonymous phone calls threatening an accident if he stuck his nose into the Magnuson affair.
Ooh, it's kind of like the channeling. Remember when he kept threatening the guy because he was getting close to changeling. Changeling. You know what? You know what I'm talking about.
Who came out of that?
What's his name?
It's the one from Patton?
That George C. Scott dude?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember that. Okay.
Remember him? Did you ever watch Firestarter by Stephen King?
Yeah.
He came out on there too. Oh, and he was the detective on The Exorcist 3. That one was freaky.
Yeah.
Police suspect the cause may be a hoax, and the caller may be the same person who also terrorized a woman in a nearby suburb who had recently lost her husband in tragic circumstances.
Oh, okay. So another lady had lost her husband the way this lady did, or is they're talking about the
That's what I'm suspecting.
right?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So they might have. So they're suspecting that they might have like a low key serial killer around. Don't you have to kill like two
not
more
really,
people?
Yeah, well, maybe, but I think it's like a conspiracy type
Yeah.
thing. So the police don't have to talk about it.
The police, no one can. No one. Everyone's getting threatening if they get involved.
Not the police, but that Progress Association person.
Yeah. But what's the Largs North Progress Association? And how does the mayor get involved in that?
People in Australia, what does that mean? What is the Large North Progress Association? Let us know.
Yeah.
To all the people in Australia who listen to us, we appreciate you.
Keep it up.
So, do you think the Magnusons are like connected to it?
I think maybe the husband was involved. Yeah.
Right, like knew something?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think whatever it was, spy. If it's not spying, then it's something where maybe they're assassins of some sort.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
So now we're going to go into international interest.
In addition to intense public interest in Australia during the late 1940s and early 1950s, the case also attracted international attention. South Australia police consulted their counterparts overseas and distributed information about the dead man internationally in an effort to identify him. International circulation of a photograph of the man and details of his fingerprints yielded no positive identification.
So he apparently went to the United States.
Yep.
Right.
So when they sent his fingerprints in from 1940 to and late 1940s into early 1950s, they couldn't determine.
They didn't get an identification of it.
They didn't know who he was.
No.
It's weird how they can't find the identification of any of these people.
And how, especially with them, why do you say their name?
Magnuson.
Magnuson. Especially with her husband and son, because they had people threatening them if they got involved.
Mm-hmm.
And that lady whose husband had died tragically, I wonder if he was part of it too. Because they're saying,
For example, in the United States, the Federal Bureau of Investigation was unable to match the dead man's fingerprints with prints taken from files of domestic criminals. Scotland Yard was also asked to assist with the case, but could not offer any insights.
So nothing.
But they were doing the fingerprints with files from domestic criminals.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't a criminal.
True.
So I would have think that they would run it through their database of just regular people. Or maybe to omit it that he would.
Criminals and government workers, maybe. How would they do that?
I don't know.
How would they do that?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Well, then at least we know he wasn't a criminal then.
True.
A spy.
Yeah. Looks like it.
All right. So now let's talk about post-inquest pre-2009.
In 1949, the body of the unknown man was buried in Adelaide's West Terrace Cemetery, where the Salvation Army conducted the service. The South Australian Grandstand Bookmakers Association paid for the service to save the man from a pauper's burial. Years after the burial, flowers began appearing on the grave. So still was sitting with flowers.
Yeah.
Maybe someone knows who he is.
Yeah.
I wonder if he had like a wife somewhere that no one knew about, and she saw, the sketch and all that. It wasn't a sketch. It was
Like a photograph.
a photograph, a cast of his face.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't they do that with that Cooper dude, the DB Cooper, the guy
casting, I'm not sure
of the face?
I know they do like
Sketching?
a sketch of it.
Oh, it's a sketch.
Yeah, I've only seen sketches.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought they did
We
like
actually never found the body of DB Cooper.
Yeah.
We saw it on Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, man. Police questioned a woman seen leaving the cemetery, but she claimed she knew nothing of the man. About the same time, Ina Harvey, the receptionist from the Strathmore Hotel opposite Adelaide Railway Station, revealed that a strange man had stayed in room 21 or 23 for a few days around the time of the death, checking out on November 30th, 1948. She recalled he was English-speaking and only carrying a small black case, not unlike one a musician or a doctor might carry. When an employee looked inside the case, he told Harvey he had found an object inside the case he described as looking like a needle.
Maybe he was there to kill somebody, but they got him instead.
Yeah. That's true, too.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Russian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe. He was running for the Russians.
On November 22nd, 1959, it was reported that one E.B. Collins, an inmate of New Zealand's Wanganui prison, claimed to know the identity of the dead man. In 1978, ABC TV in its documentary series Inside Story produced a program on the Tamam Shud case, titled The Somerton Beach Mystery, where reporter Stuart Littlemore investigated the case, including interviewing Boxall, who could add no new information, and Paul Lawson, who made the plaster cast of the body and who refused to answer a question about whether anyone had positively identified the body. In 1994, John Harbour Phillips, Chief Justice of Victoria and Chairman of the Victorian Institute of Forensic Medicine, reviewed the case to determine the cause of death and concluded that there seemed little doubt it was digitalis.
What is digitalis?
I don't know.
I think that was one of the poisons that they.
Oh, yeah.
Digitalis.
So he needs to be poisoned?
Yeah.
But they couldn't even determine if he had a heart attack or anything, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So, and in the stomach, they only found remains of a pastry.
Yeah, pasty.
Yeah. That's weird.
Oh, I want pasty now.
I know. Ooh, I want one of those sweet breads, the ones that have that pink frosting on top.
Haven't had those in a while.
I know, those are good.
Pan dulce. Phillips supported his conclusion by pointing out that the organs were engorged, consistent with digitalis. The lack of evidence of natural disease and the absence of anything seen macroscopically, which could account for the death. Former South Australian Chief Superintendent Lynn Brown, who worked on the case in the 1940s, stated that he believed that the man was from a country in Warsaw Pact, which led to the police's inability to confirm the man's identity. Warsaw Pact, yep, Russia. The South Australian Police Historical Society holds the plaster bust, which contains strands of the man's hair. Any further attempts to identify the body have been hampered by the embalming formaldehyde, having destroyed much of the man's DNA. Other key evidence no longer exists, such as the brown suitcase, which was destroyed in 1986. In addition, witness statements have disappeared from the police file over the years.
How they were destroyed?
I think someone's going in there and sabotaging everything on purpose so no one can figure out what's going on.
Why would you destroy evidence?
Those are lock and key.
Damn Ruskies.
Those are lock and key.
But so they couldn't use the DNA that man's hair because of the embalming?
Yeah. I didn't know formaldehyde does that. Well, then again.
Well, yeah. So that sucks. Now that we can use DNA.
Yeah.
It's right. Because of the embalming.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Conspiracy. So crazy.
So now we're going to get into theories, and there's two of them. The first one we're going to discuss is the spy theory.
Spies.
We all knew it.
We all knew it. I think we all were going down that route.
There has been persistent speculation that the dead man was a spy due to the circumstances and historical context of his death. At least two sites relatively close to Adelaide were of interest to spies: the Radium Hill uranium mine and the Woomera Test Range, an Anglo-Australian military research facility.
So there was reasons for there to be spies.
Uranium.
Were they both research facilities or just that one?
I think it was just that one. What's a uranium mine?
Yeah, what is that?
You get uranium from there?
I guess so.
I guess. I don't really know.
Interesting.
The man's death also coincided with the reorganization of Australian security agencies, which would culminate the following year with the founding of the Australian Security Intelligence Organization, or ASIO. This would be followed by a crackdown on Soviet espionage in Australia, which was revealed by intercepts of Soviet communications under the Vienna Project.
They were trying to combat Russian
espionage?
Yeah.
I didn't know the Soviets were over there.
They were everywhere, man. Spies.
Yep.
I guess spies could be anywhere. Really.
I wouldn't think of Australia.
No?
Yeah.
Well, why?
Well, what do they have down there? Well, now I know it's uranium.
But what's uranium again?
It's to make nukes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of it. Another theory concerns Alf Boxall, who we talked about earlier. He was reportedly involved in intelligence work during and immediately after World War II. In a 1978 television interview, Stuart Littlemore asked Mr. Boxall, "You have been working, hadn't you, in an intelligence unit before you met this young woman, Jessica Harkness? Do you talk to her about that at all?" In reply, Boxall says no. And when asked if Harkness could have known, Vauxhall replies, not unless somebody else told her. When Littlemore suggests in the interview that there may have been an espionage connection to the dead man in Adelaide, Vauxhall replies, it's quite a melodramatic thesis, isn't it?
I think it's true.
Hey, you know what? How about this? Maybe he was sent to kill her to send him a message.
Who?
That
Harkness?
that Boxwell guy, the Somerton Man. Maybe that's how he was connected.
With espionage?
Or whatever the spy thing theory.
Huh.
Maybe he knew that he was talking with her, or they had a thing going, and maybe to shut him up about anything, they sent him to do it, and that's why he was asking the neighbor who she was or where she lived or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. But
I only came up with that theory because of there's a part in the 9-year later character who.
You're going from a different book?
Yeah, check it out.
Go ahead.
Because he was like an assassin type kind of dude from Ireland or whatever. And so he goes around the world where they send him, and he was called to go and not hurt some dude, but his mistress, to kind of send him a warning and a message type kind of thing. But they got to him maybe first.
In this case, anything's possible, I guess.
Yeah.
Strange. And so this Boxall worked with intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a spy theory.
I think
I'm
so.
going with spy theory.
Like I said, anything is possible with this case, though.
It's all over the place. I'm telling you, man.
Vauxhall's Army service record suggests that he served initially in the 4th Water Transport Company before being seconded to the North Australia Observer Unit, or NAOU, a Special Operations Unit, and that during his time with the NAOU, Vauxhall rose rapidly in rank, being promoted from Lance Corporal to Lieutenant within 3 months.
Huh. So he was in charge of water transport?
Yeah.
Wow. And you need a special unit for that?
I guess so.
Special forces unit?
Water. Waterman.
So look, he did the killing and he got ranked up.
Maybe.
That could be.
Maybe they were putting some kind of uranium thing in the water or something.
But anything in the Somerton Man's like Russian? Is the Somerton Man Russian?
Maybe.
Or Australian?
Maybe he is. Maybe he was Russian sent to go to Australia.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just they send him anywhere. And it just happens to be Australia.
Well, yeah, but is he working for the Russians or?
Maybe.
The next theory is the H.C. Reynolds theory.
In 2011, an Adelaide woman contacted biological anthropologist Macies Hindenburg about an identification card of an H.C. Reynolds that she had found in her father's possessions. The card, a document issued in the United States to foreign sailors during World War I, was given to Hindenburg in October 2011 for comparison of the ID photograph to that of the Somerton Man.
So she found an identification card in her father's possessions?
Yeah.
I wonder why he had them.
I don't know.
Maybe he was the one who did the killing. Maybe him and Boxwell are in on it.
That could be.
While Hindenburg found anatomical similarities in features such as nose, lips, and eyes, he believed they were not as reliable as the close similarity of the ear. The ear shapes shared by both men were a very good match, although Hindenburg also found what he called a unique identifier, a mole on the cheek that was the same shape and in the same position in both photographs. Together with the similarity of the ear characteristics, this mole in the forensic case will allow me to make a rare statement, positively identifying the Somerton Man.
Oh.
Okay, so
So
now.
the picture looks like the Somerton Man.
Yeah.
Wow. Or the card.
The card. I think that did it for him was the ears and the mole.
Especially the mole.
So.
The ID card numbered 58757 was issued in the United States on February 28, 1918, to H.C. Reynolds, giving his nationality as British and age as 18. Searches conducted by the U.S. National Archives, the U.K. National Archives, and the Australian War Memorial Research Centre have failed to find any records relating to H.C. Reynolds. Some independent researchers believe the ID card belonged to Horace Charles Reynolds, a Tasmanian man who died in 1953. Could not have been the Somerton Man.
Anytime they identify him, then it's not him.
I know, man.
Isn't that weird?
Yes. The H.C. Reynolds was not him.
No.
They're saying no.
They're saying no.
He's from Tasmania.
Yeah, he's a Tasmanian man.
Come on. Tasmania.
Every time they think they're close, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's back to be a spider.
Yeah. So now it's back to square one.
Yeah.
Who is the Somerton Man?
Mm-hmm.
So let's discuss Jessica Thompson's relatives.
Prosper Thompson died in 1995, and Jessica Thompson died in 2007. In November 2013, three of their relatives gave interviews to the Channel 9 current affairs program 60 Minutes. Kate Thompson, the daughter of Jessica and Prosper Thompson, said that her mother was a woman interviewed by police and that her mother had told her she had lied to them. Jessica didn't know the identity of the Somerton Man, and his identity was also known to a level higher than the police force.
Wow. So she knew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which we thought because of her reaction.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
I wonder how she knew.
I'm telling you, maybe he was out to get that.
Her?
Yeah, maybe he was out to get that Vauxhall dude that she was talking with.
You're confusing me with that.
Okay, before she married her dude,
Jessica
Thompson, remember she had met that Vauxhall dude.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
then I'm saying maybe the Somerton Man was out to get Vauxhall,
Yeah.
but instead of getting him, he was trying to get to her. And that's why he was going and asking where her house was. Because maybe he was going to send a message to Vauxhall about keeping his mouth shut about anything. And we're going with the spy theory.
Maybe.
But they got to him first.
Yeah, maybe. I'm getting what you're saying now.
You get it?
Yeah.
She even said that his identity was known to a higher level than the cops.
Mm-hmm.
But what does that mean though? Like he was bigger than the cops?
No, someone higher up than the cops know who he is.
Oh. So maybe CIA, FBI,
or whatever their intelligence.
Yeah.
Operatives.
Yeah. Intelligence, like, agency.
Mm-hmm.
She suggested that her mother and the Somerton Man may both have been spies, knowing that Jessica Thompson taught English to migrants and was interested in communism, that she could also speak Russian, although she would not disclose to Kate where she had learned it or why.
Huh.
I bet she killed him.
Well, I don't know who killed him, but yeah.
I bet it was her.
Maybe.
I could see why she would think she was a spy, though, knowing so many different languages.
Yeah.
Roma Egan, the widow of Jessica Thompson's son, Robin and Roma's daughter, Rachel Egan, also appeared on 60 Minutes. They suggested that the Somerton Man was Robin's father and therefore Rachel's grandfather.
Huh.
So there's theories that they might had a thing going.
Yep.
Maybe they were both needing to kill each other, but she got to him first.
You know, like a movie.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yeah.
And then it's on Prime right now, right?
I think so.
And then they remade it.
Yeah.
Like into a series.
Yeah.
I didn't think this case could get any weirder.
It keeps getting like stranger and stranger.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
The Egans reported lodging a new application with the Attorney General John Rao to have the Somerton Man's body exhumed and DNA tested. Abbott also subsequently wrote to Rao in support of the Egans, saying that the exhumation for DNA testing would be consistent with federal government policy of identifying soldiers and war graves to bring closure to their family.
Now we're going to talk about the Somerton Man's exhumation.
In October 2011, as interest in the case resurfaced, Attorney General John Rao refused to exhume the body, stating, "There needs to be public interest reasons that go well beyond public curiosity or broad scientific interest." Filter said he was still contacted by people in Europe who believed the man was a missing relative but did not believe an exhumation and finding the man's family grouping would provide answers to relatives, as during that period so many war criminals changed their names and came to different countries.
Oh. But wasn't it proven, though, that his prints weren't on the criminal databases?
From the FBI, from America.
Oh, but not from the others then.
Yeah.
And no one did it for the other countries?
Don't know. But I wonder why the families won't, like, want to exhume the bodies. Just to find out, like, get closure, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if they don't believe in it, just do it just to get closure.
Maybe he wasn't a great guy.
Maybe. Well, no, I think they're talking about, like, the other families.
Oh, I think it was the opinion of Filter saying that there was no need to do an exhumation and finding the man's family grouping because they wouldn't provide answers as to who he was.
True. He was contacted by people in Europe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they believed that man, they believed he was a missing
Relative. Yeah.
But they didn't believe in an exhumation.
They didn't believe it, or the Feltus didn't believe it?
It says they. Yeah.
Okay. Feltus believed that exhuming him and finding his family Ruben would not provide answers to relatives, as during the period, so many war criminals changed their names and came from different countries.
They were afraid that he would be like a war criminal.
Yeah.
Oh.
But wait. Though, well, I mean, just because they changed their name doesn't mean they changed their look or their face or anything.
Have you seen Face Off?
That was way before I died. Take his face.
Now.
Oh, that was a pretty good movie, though. I liked it.
I heard they were like doing it again.
Oh man, why are they keep doing that?
No, but I think they're gonna come out on it.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Like they're gonna star in it again? But didn't he kill him?
That's what they said.
How's the second half? He didn't die. But because John Travolta adopted his son at the end, right? Or his nephew? Yeah, because the mom had the accident killed the mom, but she was in the crossfire.
We have to make sure. It was on Facebook. They're saying not to believe everything you read on Facebook.
I know. I got excited because they were saying that Rob Zombie was going to do a Freddy Krueger until I saw DJ Squalls or whatever his name was going to be on it, and I was like, that's goals. Oh, that would be so much carnage, though. And then he's going to have his wife in it.
In October 2019, however, Attorney General Vicky Chapman granted approval for his body to be exhumed to extract DNA for analysis. The parties interested in analysis agreed to cover the costs. A potential granddaughter's DNA is planned to be compared to the unknown man's to see if it is a match.
Well, that's good to know. Hope it's coming out to be him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that Rachel girl, right?
Yes, so.
Great news. An exhumation was carried out on May 19th, 2021. Police stated that the remains were in reasonable condition and were optimistic about the prospect of DNA recovery. The remains were deeper in the ground than previously thought.
So that's what kept the DNA good?
I guess so.
Okay, and back to this Attorney General. So it was a new Attorney General?
Yeah.
That agreed to it?
It was reported that the body was exhumed as part of Operation Persevere and Operation Persist, which are investigating historical unidentified remains in South Australia. The authorities have said they intend to take DNA from the remains if possible. Dr. Ann Coxon of Forensic Science South Australia said, "The technology available to us now is clearly light years ahead of the techniques available when this body was discovered in the late 1940s, and that tests would use every method at our disposal to try and bring closure to this enduring mystery."
Yeah, of course the technology is a lot better.
Oh, yeah, that's how most of those cold cases have been solved for DNA testing and how the technology has changed. I freak out on how some of the DNA is always intact when so many years have gone by.
Yeah.
Like it's like on its brittle bones, but like they're still able to scrounge out like DNA. Within limits, though. I think I have watched one where someone was saying that they kept every year they kept trying to get a DNA sample from a rape kit, I think.
Yeah.
And that they had to prove it was them because they only had like one more try left.
It runs out.
Yeah, it runs out. So they were lucky enough. I think they did cut the guy because they were lucky enough that one.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wow.
Now we're going to talk about the Abbott investigation.
In March 2009, a University of Adelaide team led by Professor Derek Abbott began an attempt to solve the case through cracking a code and proposing to exhume the body to test for DNA. His investigations have led to questions concerning the assumptions police had made on the case. Abbott also tracked down the barber wax cotton of the period and found packaging variations. This may provide clues to the country where it was purchased.
What's a barber wax cotton?
Barber wax cotton of the period. I don't know. Those barbers.
Was that the material of his clothes?
Yes.
Oh, didn't they find some kind of wax something on him with wax on it?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember.
Was it like a... Yeah.
Wasn't it like not a needle, but it was like a wax, something wax.
Yeah.
It wasn't like in one of his little...
Either on him or in a briefcase?
Yeah.
No, he didn't have a briefcase, did he?
Suitcase?
Suitcase?
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't on him, right?
No.
Wasn't like a tag on him?
There was the tags were from America. I think that's what they were saying.
Yeah.
But they also found some kind of wax thread.
Oh, the thread.
Yeah, the thread was wax.
Yeah.
It was determined the letter frequency of the message in the back of the rubaiyat was considerably different from the letters written down randomly. The frequency was to be further tested to determine if the alcohol level of the writer could alter random distribution. They observed that the format of the code also appeared to follow the quatrain format of Rubaiyat, leading them to theorize that the code was a one-time pad encryption algorithm.
Algorithm?
Algorithms back then?
Isn't that like when somebody just laughs because you were looking at something? Like you know how they do it like on the videos?
Right on Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, spies.
I thought that's what
AI.
that meant.
Maybe you had it back then, but just
In different form.
in different form.
Copies of the Rubaiyat, as well as the Talmud and Bible, were being compared to the code using computers to get a statistical base for the letter frequencies. However, the code's short length meant that investigators would require the exact edition of the book used. With the original copy lost in the 1950s, researchers have been looking for a Fitzgerald edition. The team concluded that it was most likely that each letter was the first letter of a word.
Mm-hmm. So they must have a code?
Yeah.
So they had to guess the word by the first letter?
Yeah.
That's going to be hard.
Yeah.
They probably had to go through all the dictionaries to look at words that started with W. That was the first letter, right? L.
Oh, yeah, that was W. Oh, N.
N or W. I feel it was a W.
I feel like it was W.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. An investigation has shown that the Somerton Man's autopsy reports of 1948 and 1949 are now missing, and the Bar Smith's library collection of Cleland's notes do not contain anything on the case.
So his autopsies reports are missing?
The ones
Yeah.
from the 1948 and 49.
How convenient.
Yeah, exactly. You see how things just are ending up missing now?
Somebody doesn't want us to know exactly who he is and what went down.
We want to know.
Masij Hindenburg, professor of anatomy at the University of Adelaide, examined images of the Somerton Man's ears and found that his simba, the upper ear hollow, is larger than his cavum, lower ear hollow, a feature possessed by only 1% of the Caucasian population.
What does that mean? The upper ear hollow?
Is right here? Maybe?
This?
Oh, yeah, probably.
I think so.
Right?
It's larger than his mouth.
Which is larger than his. So he has big ear flaps on the top and it's just small on the bottom?
Yes, so.
In May 2009, Abbott consulted with dental experts who concluded that the Somerton Man had hypodonatia, a rare genetic disorder of both lateral incisors, a feature present in only 2% of the general population. In June 2010, Abbott obtained a photograph of Jessica Thompson's eldest son, Ruben, which clearly showed that he, like the unknown man, had not only a larger simba than cavum, but also hypodontia. The chance that this was a coincidence has been estimated as between 1 in 10 million and 1 in 20 million. The media have suggested that Robin Thompson, who was 16 months old in 1948 and died in 2009, may have been a child of either Boxhall or the Somerton Man, and passed off as Prosper Thompson's son. DNA testing will confirm or eliminate this speculation.
Why don't they just do it?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're dumbheads.
Because I wonder if they needed any of the old DNA to compare to the one they're going to do.
Maybe.
You know what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah.
So they're basically saying that guy Robin could be his son.
Right.
Because they have similar features, right?
Yeah.
So,
Especially when it came to the ear and the teeth.
yeah.
Australia, land of
Big spiders.
and big freaking bugs and
those are
animals.
huge spiders.
Mm.
How big do they get?
Pretty big.
Pretty big.
Abbott believes an exhumation and an autosomal DNA test could link the Somerton Man to a short list of surnames, which, along with existing clues to the man's identity, will be the final piece of the puzzle. After discovering that Robin Thompson had died in 2009, Abbott contacted Rachel, the daughter of Roma Egan and Robin Thompson, who had been adopted and grew up in New Zealand. Abbott and Rachel married in 2010, and they have 3 children. The family has a painting of the Somerton Man hanging in their home, believing him to be family.
So the Abbott guy is doing the investigation married Rachel?
Huh?
The guy, who's doing the investigation.
Oh, yeah, that's
He married Rachel?
Yeah.
No,
It's kind of like weird.
Why did you do that?
Yeah. Now it's personal, I guess, for him.
However, Rachel Egan's DNA has been analyzed, and links were found to the grandparents of Prosper Thompson.
So she's prosperous.
Yeah. I think they're saying that Rachel might be the one
Well, Rachel's prosperous, apparently.
Oh, wait, Robin was adopted? When was he adopted?
Yes, I don't know.
And who's Roma? That's her.
Almost the mom.
Oh, okay.
Or someone. It says on the.
Oh, she's the mom of Rachel.
Yeah.
In July 2013, Abbott released an artistic impression he commissioned of the Somerton Man, believing this might finally lead to an identification. All this time we've been publishing the autopsy photo, and it's hard to tell what something looks like from that, Abbott said.
That's true. The dead body can look different.
True, yeah.
In December 2017, Abbott announced 3 excellent hairs at the right development stage for extracting DNA have been found on the plaster cast of the corpse and have been submitted for analysis to the Australian Centre for Ancient DNA at the University of Adelaide.
I thought they couldn't use those hairs because of the formaldehyde.
Now they can.
Now they can.
Okay, I'm
Weirdo.
yeah.
Strange magic right there, man. Processing the results could reportedly take up to a year. While much of the DNA is degraded, in February 2018, the University of Adelaide team obtained a high-definition analysis of the mitochondrial DNA from hair sample from Somerton Man.
So they're getting all this DNA, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what's taking them so long. If it's like in 2018.
Maybe it takes a while for it to develop, depending on the DNA.
That or the number of cases.
That's true.
Overflow, man.
Yeah.
They found that the Somerton Man belonged to the haplogroup H4A1A1A, possessed by only 1% of Europeans. However, mitochondrial DNA is only inherited through the maternal line, and therefore cannot be used to investigate a hereditary link between Rachel Egan, Abbott's wife, and the Somerton Man.
Abbott married that guy's like mistress? I'm confused.
No, I think that Rachel Egan is supposed to be the daughter of Robin.
Roma. Robin.
Robin and Roma. That's why I was saying that Roma and Robin go to the same orphanage, and that's how they met.
Well, how do you know they were an orphanage?
Because they said that they were both adopted and lived in New Zealand or something like that.
Doesn't mean they're an orphanage.
Then how do you get adopted, Bubba? You go through foster care.
The hospital?
Well, back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
19, what year was this? 1940s.
When they were born.
They might have been in an orphanage.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, back in the 40s, babies, 50s, orphanage.
That's true.
So I was going to say, did they grow in the same... I don't think they were adopted together, but you know what I mean?
We don't even know if they were adopted.
Did Roy? Did it say?
I said that for
Look, right here. After discovering that Robin Thompson had died in 2009, Abbott contacted Rachel, the daughter of Roman Egan and Robin Thompson, who had been adopted and grew up in New Zealand.
So Robin grew up in New Zealand.
So it's Robin who was adopted and not Roma?
I don't know. Let's just go on.
So sick of this face.
C2 told you.
All right.
Son of a bitch, Somerton Man.
I know.
Who are you?
It's gone from confusing to more confusing.
If it's going to end like it did with the Dock Tower, I'm going to burn these pages. Okay, let's talk about his potential identification.
On July 26, 2022, Abbott announced that he and genealogist Colleen Fitzpatrick had determined that the man was Charles Webb, an electrical engineer and instrument maker born on November 16, 1905, in Footscray, a suburb of Melbourne. Abbott claimed his DNA identification from strands of hair found in the plaster death mask made by South Australian police in the late 1940s.
So he's Charles Webb.
Yeah.
So that's his identity.
And he was a machinist.
He was an electrical engineer and instrument maker.
So he was an instrument maker.
Yeah.
Weren't they talking about that before?
Yeah. Well, when we had first started, we had already said that they had identified him as Charles Webb, and that he was an instrument maker and electrical engineer.
Through investigative genetic genealogy, matches were found for descendants of 2 distant cousins of Webb, both on the paternal and on the maternal side. None of Webb's still living relatives in 2022 had known him in person.
So his relatives have already passed.
I think so.
Anyone that would have known him. Yeah.
Initially, there were no known pre-death photographs of Webb, but further investigation uncovered his likely presence in the 1921 Swinburne University football team photograph, though the image did not identify Webb directly, and in November 2022, Australian Story revealed photographs of Webb from the 1920s found in a Webb family photo album. Earlier, the ABC had published photos of Webb's brother, Roy Webb, claiming they resembled the Somerton Man.
So they had put it them in college?
Yeah.
I guess so.
So he was Australian.
Yeah.
So
So I guess he just traveled to America?
Yes.
Or he just get clothes from like a thrift store
Could be
in
that.
Australia.
Either or.
Either way, it was
Right.
hard times around that time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Forensic Science South Australia, who were still investigating, declined to comment on Abbott's findings. Forensic Science South Australia, who were still investigating, declined to comment on Abbott's findings. South Australia police had not verified the result, but stated they were cautiously optimistic that this may provide a breakthrough.
So Abbott is saying it's him.
Yeah.
But they're not really saying it yet.
I don't think they're willing to say
Like,
yes.
So now we're going to talk about Carl Webb.
AKA Somerton Man.
Carl Webb's father, Richard August Webb, who died in 1939, had immigrated to Australia from Hamburg, Germany. He married Eliza Amelia Morris Grace in 1892 and opened a bakery in Springville, Victoria. Carl Charles Webb was born on November 16, 1905, in Footscray, a suburb of Melbourne, the youngest of 6 children of Richard and Eliza. The 3 sons would eventually work at the family bakery. When the bakery closed down, Carl retrained as an electrical instrument maker. In 1941, he married Dorothy Doff Robertson, a pharmacist and chiropodist. The couple moved into a flat in Bromby Street, South Yarra. The marriage was not a harmonious one, largely due to Carl's personality.
I don't know what his personality was.
Maybe he was a real asshole,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah.
Dorothy described Carl as solitary, having few friends, living a quiet life, and being in bed by 7 p.m. each night, but also moody, violent, and threatening, especially when facing defeat, even over relatively trivial matters.
There you go. He was an asshole.
Yep. Yeah.
He was fond of poetry and wrote several poems of his own, most of them on the subject of death, which he claims to be his greatest desire, Dorothy stated. This would be consistent with a copy of the Rubaiyat, which also focuses on the subject of death.
Oh, strange.
Interesting.
He's not a good guy.
No, he's not.
Freakaway.
He's not a nice guy.
Dorothy recalled one instance in March 1946 in which her husband apparently attempted suicide with an overdose of ether. She nursed him back to health only for him to scold her for it and become more violent.
Maybe it was a
Maybe
suicide.
that's why no one wanted to claim him.
That is true.
You know, I'm trying to get
Yeah.
it.
He was just too much of an asshole.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
And so, yeah, maybe it was a suicide.
Maybe.
In September 1946, Dorothy fled from her husband, following years of physical and verbal abuse. Carl moved out in 1947, and no official records revealing his subsequent whereabouts have been found as of 2022. In 1951, Dorothy was reportedly living in Butte, South Australia, 144 kilometers, which is 89 miles, from Adelaide. Abbott speculates that Carl may have gone to Adelaide intending to find her.
Okay.
And you can't find this lady.
I mean, they do say abusers go and look for their victims.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
She applied for a divorce on June 5th, 1951, citing desertion. The divorce was granted in April 1952. Carl's oldest sister, Freda Grace, was married to Thomas Gerald Keane. They had a son named John who died in World War II in 1943. Carl's brother Roy also died in the prisoner of war camp the same year. John's possessions included items which imply he resided in the United States at some point, such as American coins and a map of Chicago. Freda Grace and Carl lived a 20-minute drive away from each other. This would explain why the Somerton Man was wearing clothes of American origin and with the name Keane on them. They could have been handed down to him from his brother-in-law or nephew.
That makes sense.
That explains a whole lot.
And so he wasn't a spy.
No.
Right.
I guess not.
There's that theory.
Back up
Yeah.
that theory. He was just a regular Joe Schmo that wanted to die
It
and
was abusive.
abusive to his wife,
And
and he might have been over there to go look for her
So he just, did he commit suicide just
because he
can't
wanted to
find her?
die. No, but he wanted. Maybe he was looking for her, maybe to leave some stuff with her, like
Yeah.
I don't know, like money, bonds, or whatever.
Murder suicide?
Well, no, because he tried to do it on his own, and she revived him,
Yeah.
and he got mad at her. So I'm thinking maybe he was going to do it anyway, but he was maybe going to.
Yeah, but why go look for her?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe he was going to give her something, like here. I'm just.
No, I don't think so. I think he was trying to kill her.
Oh, I mean,
You see
maybe,
that theory?
maybe, yeah.
Maybe
But
so.
why would he want to kill her though? If he didn't try to do.
Well, because she left him.
No, but when he tried to commit suicide before, he didn't try to kill her.
Yeah, but he got mad at her for saving him.
And then she got tired and she left. So, but why would he want to go back and kill her?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of asshole guys.
But yeah, you're right, because some assholes can be
That's
like
a
that.
possibility.
Yeah.
But then maybe he also tried to make amends.
Before he
Yeah.
did it,
Yeah.
Maybe.
maybe.
But he seems like an asshole.
Yeah.
Big
I was
asshole.
trying to make it mix. I don't think so.
Abbott's research indicates Webb enjoyed bidding on horses, thus the coded messages could be horse named. Derek Abbott and Colleen Fitzpatrick believe that Carl had serious mental health issues and spiraled down after losing 4 close relatives in 7 years. His history and the autopsy findings suggest he committed suicide by poisoning himself.
I believe that.
Now I think
Now I'm believing that, yeah. This
took lots of turns.
Has been
twists and turns for
left and right.
Yeah.
So it comes down to him being Carl and just being an asshole, not loving life.
Yeah.
And just wanting to be gone from it. So you know how he wanted to kill himself, right?
Yes.
Okay, because just he was obsessed with death or whatever. And People Magazine sent me a notification of a story of a 34-year-old who chose to. She was in the hospital for some reason, but she had a lot of mental health, like with depression and all that. Mm-hmm. And she chose to kill herself. She wanted to be, what's the word?
Euthanized.
Yeah. Because she was just tired of living. She didn't want to live in the world anymore. So he was just like that, maybe. And yeah, but he was a real asshole, man.
So like no one looked for him?
Nope.
Maybe that's why nobody wanted anything to do with him.
True.
Because of the way he really was.
Sad.
And they didn't have any kids, right? No.
Just brothers?
They didn't have any kids.
Okay, so they didn't have any kids.
So Jessica Thompson might have been.
So that has nothing to do with her, right? She has anything to do with her?
No.
Right?
No.
So she just cheated with someone else?
Well, because they were trying to say that her son's daughter might have been her granddaughter.
Yeah.
So they're saying that guy Robin might have been his son. So in between there.
So do they know each other or not? That Carl Webb and that Thompson leave.
I think they did. I think after the lady left, I think maybe he met her somehow, and they had a thing going, and
so
she had a son.
This case had me confused.
It was a weird case, very long, very confusing. A lot of we got it, but never mind, we don't have it. Mm-hmm. And I never want to discuss this case ever again. I'm good. Very interesting case, though. Very interesting. This concludes our Somerton Man series.
Hope you all enjoyed this episode of the 4 True Crime Idiots podcast. Please rate us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, or wherever you listen to our podcast. And please follow us, the 4 True Crime Idiots podcast, on all of our social media platforms. All of the links will be in the description. Until the next episode,
be aware of your surroundings.
Stay safe.
Stay vigilant. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.